Forgive me, I just saw the extension on the mic and I thought that wasn't pushed all the way in, but it did record audio. So I'm carrying on, continuing as if part two. So you've got to get out of the habit. Commandment number one, according to the reset sniper, and there's going to be 5 commandments. 5, half the amount that you're expected to biblically follow, and there will be no thou shalt not keep false gods or anything like that in there. This is a no fluff, trimmed down, how to survive the coming era. And it's not going to be necessarily short. You should work on years, at least 7 years. We don't know how deep into it. We might already be in the first, second, or third. Who knows? But work on 7 years. So drop out of the constant listening to government and obeying government. You should actively apply into your executive center every time you hear a government stated edict and say, what is the exact corollary of this and how are they screwing me with this request? In other words, you need to every time be inverting the comment that you are receiving from government or the instruction. And then you should be saying, I wish to be on the other side. I wish to be on the other side of that. It's your natural tendency, even if someone stops you. Now, I'm not, if it's a traffic cop and you've been speeding, do like you're told. If it's a policeman, don't make your life difficult. Keep your mouth shut. Don't implicate yourself in any way. All the normal stuff. But at the same level, I want to tell you, don't allow government and don't allow most people. You'll have people that'll come running up to you and say, hey, we need you to do X, Y, and Z. Who are you first? Who do you represent? The minute they are government body, local council or whatever, they say, why wasn't I told about this before? What is this? I need time to think about this. You never have to answer on the spot. Anytime you put under pressure for the answer is always no. If that's a timeshare telesalesperson, if you're putting me under pressure to answer you, the answer is no. Anytime you're door stopped that you're not expecting, the answer is no, because people are naturally compliant. You naturally see the good in others and you're naturally compliant. This rule is harder to introduce and to apply than you realize. Someone shows up at your door in a uniform, you're compliant. Don't be compliant. On your own property, you are the boss. In your own vehicle, you are the boss. If it's not a traffic cop and you've not been speeding, it's why have I been stopped? That's all you're interested in. Why are you at my door? Why are you here? If you're not getting a parcel, you need to have more immediacy of inherent assertiveness of your own personal rights. At any time someone's doing anything more than delivering a parcel to your front door, why are you here? Gathering data, conducting a poll. Who said? Did you get permission to come on my property? What is the purpose for this? Who are you representing? Never mind your questions. Answer these questions. So guys, it's time to assert. It's time to put your hand between your legs and find a pair of testicola vandolas and give them a little tweak and remind them. And the ladies, yours are virtual, but they're there. It's time to engage them. Do not be bullied by out of the blue events that catch you by surprise at any point, at any instance. Same for phone calls, same for anything. So this point one, I'm really laboring this a little bit. And I'm saying your default position is, who are you? I do not comply. Who are you? Who do you represent? And my default position is I am non-compliant and I disobey. What is it that you're about? And then when you hear statements from government, you apply the law of inversion. Market sniper, reset sniper, the crypto sniper, the 3 snipers. At the center, we are at the reset, guys. It's happening. Rule number 1 is you are asserting yourself to strangers that appear out of the blue. You are asserting yourself to calls that are made on your line out of the blue. Do not tolerate sales calls and garbage and anything else. These are not the times for being warm and fuzzy on anything unscheduled that takes you by surprise. And people quickly back off if they face up to somebody who says, Who are you and why have you stopped me? If you're all soft and cuddly and you're getting into your little amiable spirit, they've got you. They've freaking got you. These times are polarizing because what I'm going to explain to you is you're going to have, instead of a huge sphere of acquaintances, you're going to lose a lot of them. And I'm going to tell you it's your job to get rid of them. You need to find out what they think and you need to cull them. And you need to cull them almost with a degree of disrespect that they've failed your goddamn IQ test. And you've got to get closer to the ones that understand, because I'll be getting to that in a later law. And we may as well do self-education. Number 2, the reset sniper, law number 2 for surviving the reset sniper times. And this is not an economic, trading, financial set of laws. This is social, political, survival, thrival set of laws. Asserting yourself. Okay, law number 2, self-educate instead of pursuing any form of education right now. This is not the time for degrees, professorships, doctorates, or anything else. Get practically educated in the things you're going to need. I can't tell you how long this time is going to be. It's almost going to be more useful you know how to make a fire in the rain than you know how to split an atom in a physics laboratory. It's going to be more useful to you how to deliver a floating rib kick than it is for you to be able to know what's politically correct to spelling for LGBTQ and how many letters you should put on there. There's things that you should be educated on that are going to become critical in these times, and there's theoretical garbage that you pay a God-forsaking mortgage for that you shouldn't be bothering with in these times. We can regroup after this era is ending if we come out of it. So you've got to make it a point of this is something to be survived, and you're going to get strong. And you get strong by a couple of ways. You need to be wise to the game. You need to self-educate. This channel is a self-education channel. It costs you nothing. It costs you nothing. My community is a self-educating channel, and it will cost you something. Other websites, other reading materials, and do not go for the mainstream media hero authors. I'm talking about things that come under alternative history, have words like revisionist to it. Mein Kampf, who knows? Those are the reading things. The things you shouldn't be reading are the things you read. Refer, rule 1. That which they tell you you may not read is exactly that you should be reading. Okay? That they tell you should be reading is government propaganda bump ad nauseum. Turn on your TV, you can have it spelt out to you in a minute and vomit it out for the dross that it is. Okay, so let's move on. You've got law number 1. Everything is inverted. Everything that comes from government is inverted. That you should not touch is that you should embrace. That you should be touching is that you should be rejecting. Law number 2. My disposition is I am an assertive, non-compliant disobeyer. And who the hell are you before you speak to me? Anybody. And who do you represent? What moneyed existence do you represent? If it's some parasitical foundation set up by some billionaire small hat that's associated with the parasitic cartel, then I can tell you, you can get the flip off my property and you can do it fast. And you can ride down there, not very friendly for all I care. If you came uninvited, you're not welcome. Same for phone calls, same for any inbound intrusion from anybody that is not known to you. Okay. Of course, there's a whole bunch that should be done at a tech level with VPNs, if you're in crypto and wallets and all of that. It's not the video for that. Okay. This is knock and drop, door to door, phone calls, people that stop you or engage you. Be more inclined to be suspicious that not everything that will be happening during this era is all the time for soft, fuzzy cuddliness. You don't have to be rude and you don't have to be aggressive. You be direct and to the point. What is the purpose? Who do you represent? There's nothing aggressive in establishing that before you engage any further with someone. Talk is dangerous. Talk is cheap. This is a war zone. The walls have ears. You may incriminate yourself, even as an innocent person that's not up to anything. Okay, reset sniper, law number 3. Stop consorting with people that do not know what they do not even know. You have limited time and energy, and there are some serious space wasters in your phone. I can tell you, I exited a few WhatsApp groups and I blocked a few people. I start polling, I slip a few things in of information for people every now and then. I see their reaction. Any sign of somebody that says, you're a conspiracy nut, or I don't know, why would they do that? Government isn't out to kill everybody. Oh, I had one guy telling me on WhatsApp, well, actually, UK and Europe is very racist. Blue eyes and blonde-haired people get paid more. And he started like this, and I had him in my contact group, and he was doing a few things, and he starts giving me the big, people, Swedish and you blue eyes, blonde hairs, and all of this. And I'm going, what? You've actually subcultured white Europeans, and now you're trying to tell me that this Marxist Black Lives Matter group is not a pressure group that is being funded by a control structure, and actually there's a whole bunch of validity to their cause. Sorry, mate. Blocked, done, by, have no conscience. Let them feel your utter contempt and cull them first, because when I get deeper into this, you will realize for people like you and I, they will be turning the sheeple on us later. You may as well kick him out hard and let them realize that you have a bite. That doesn't mean you have to be an arsehole, doesn't mean you have to be mean. Just block, cull. Sorry, I'm not in my peer group anymore. I don't feel aligned. There's a polarizing coming because the government state is going to use divide and conquer and peer group pressure on you. You, if you position yourself publicly as an anti-vaxxer, not particularly pro-masks, you avoid wearing them as much as possible unless you absolutely have to do something. Then you just wear it under your chin like I do in the store, just so here's your thing so I can just get by. Otherwise, I'm not breathing into it, I'm not putting it in, and goes straight in a car bin, and I use the same one 100 times. I don't give a crap. Otherwise, it's never used or touched, and it's never made me sick. It's never going to make me sick because it's never over my mouth. And if those of you that want to do public gestures of defiance, good for you. Sometimes I'm in a hurry. I'm not into a supermarket argument with a stranger every goddamn day. It's not practical for my energy. It'll only wind me up. So I'll put it over my ears and under my chin if I have to, if a supermarket says you've got to have a mask. So I put a mask on and I don't use it as it's intended. So it's kind of passive aggressive resistance. Some of you want to go bigger on that. Good luck. I don't have the time. And I don't want to draw out things where I'm in a hurry anyway. So let's just get this here. Stop consorting with those people. Remove them so that they know you're removed, and do not speak to them again. If they are showing you how they think and you realize there is non-alignment and there is no conceptual understanding for the fact that you are under attack, it is the control structures against the people, and the war has been declared, and you are physically under attack. The worst thing you can have, guys, is some Trojan little tosspot who is thinking government good and is stuck in his Stockholm syndrome, trying to cuddle up to his captor, and he's going to lecture you and do their ill bidding. Do not even expend any energy at setting him straight. If he's chosen that role instinctively, he's told you who he is. Believe him. Do not fight for him in your phone book. What you need is a far smaller, enriched phone book. Less schmucks, schmoes that you barely know, that you group share some gag on WhatsApp every now and then and go lols to each other. This isn't anything meaningful. This is the smorgasbord of the millennial, non-physical, non-connected, virtual reality, bullshit, non-relationships that we all acquire over time through virtue of the likes of Facebook, friends of friends of friends connecting because they saw connecting, because they saw suggesting, because they saw connectings and internet providings and clickings, and therefore fifth generation moron that fills the car for a guy that once knew an ex-girlfriend you once knew of a mate of yours that now happens to be connected to you. Get the garbage out. The less people that have access to how you think that aren't on board, the better. Cull the crap and cut them quick. Test them with a few things. Have what I call an awake test, something on vaccine, reset, scamdemic. The minute you realize these guys are fast asleep, realize you've found a Trojan sleeper enemy that will talk of you and your profile and how he differs and how you're a tinfoil hat wearing, absolute insane conspiracy theorist moron. Get them out. Get them out of your life before they are getting you out of theirs or passing on their government propaganda to try bore you into long written responses to counter arguments. Nobody ever gets rationally argued out of something they believe themselves into. If it's based on a belief system and their character, you aren't going to rationally argue them out in writing on a WhatsApp or a Facebook post in the space of 10, 15 minutes. People who haven't responded to your feed in the meantime are not your people. And that means they need removing because you're either in or you're out. This is war. You do not want enemy troops shooting you in the back from behind in your own trenches. So get them out because this is war, guys. This is war. Your state has declared war on you. You've not declared war. Your state has declared war. You're on the fast track. I was the first to bring vaccines into this. Before, when they were first sniffing with this COVID virus, I knew it was all about chips, knew it was all about vaccines, warned you all it was coming, warned that there would not be a single lockdown, that there would be repeat lockdowns. I saw this whole script coming, and everything I've said has occurred and is escalating. You have Bill Gates, an Epstein pedophile island joyrider of multiple occasions, playing doctor for the world as son of a known eugenicist friend of David Rockefeller, now deceased. May his soul not be peaceful. Yes, that is your global doctor, and he's now saying we may need multiple vaccines to ensure they properly kill you as your battling immune system does its damnedest to keep blood tissue that helps confuse your immune system of aluminium go straight to your brain so that whatever V5, whatever 5G gets kicked out of their COVID-19 aerials interacts in a spectacular fashion in science that you didn't even know existed, because that which you have in your pocket is 2 generations behind that which they make commercially available to their military industrial complex and the dark state for controlling their sheeple. That is the goddamn game, and the war's been declared and they have the tools. But just remember, just as these parasitic cabal have been small in number, through having a plan and rules, they've actually been able to dominate the many. You need to become the same. Be small in number, but well networked. So coming up, point number 4, form a very close community globally, because some of those people will not be in your same locale, but can give you moral support. Maybe if we all have to move around and we're arbitraging the different legal systems for this attack vectors that are going to be coming at us, you may be able to even meet up someday of like-minded people that understand that there is a war being waged and understand that it's waged by and it's an attack on your freedoms, your freedom of movement, your freedom of life, your freedom of what gets under your skin of toxic nature. Understand all of this and don't limit it to just those in close proximity, but obviously it's very useful to establish those that are physically close. Meet up regularly and build a tight nasty little insider cartel of your own. Yes, build a cartel of like-minded people of your own in your district. So if you get one guy that thinks, oh, you're tin pot hat, and wants to tell you how dumb and stupid you are, and he saw on the news X, Y, and Z, and he's telling you off, you suddenly have 4 of your mates showing up there, and he realizes he better not scrap with the tinfoil hat crew, because there's a few of you and you're tight and you're organized. And this is going to be very, very important, because the overall community and peer pressure that will come from government against the anti-vaxxers, against those fighting for their freedoms, against those fighting for the minimization of data being proliferated, of personal data being proliferated, are going to be continually drummed in. And they're going to be drummed in to hate you, just like the Black Lives Movement is a race hate group drumming in, and you've seen a massive spike in violence being perpetuated against white European heritage people in America, in the UK, and in their own indigenous nations by anybody of varying colors. It's a free license, and defunding the police means we're making the cops look the other way, plus we're winding these guys up, and we're pointing you out as the perp. This is their game. It is war. They're sending their useful idiots to attack you. Get goddamn organized. Get organized. What don't you understand about that? Get organized. Get tight. Time to join the shotgun club and shoot a few clays and have a few shotguns kicking around the house with a license, all legal, all tickety-boo. By the way, don't do anything that puts you under any risk of having the control structure having a legitimate reason to come and pay you a visit. Get legal, get smart, and make sure you're spiky as fuck if somebody wants to come make shit with you or any of your posse. Divided you fall, united you stand. Turn into a nasty little cabal that sheeple and their vague floating around airheadedness and their lack of real local community gets to fear, in much the same way as they live in fear of their control structure, and they pee in their pants and they obey and they comply. These are the enemy, the Trojan horse enemies, and we need to make sure that we isolate them and let them realize that awake, the real awake, will not be intimidated by the general populace. Okay? Get organized. Are you a member of the shotgun club? Do you have a shotgun for practicing shooting clays? I want to know. And if you're in a country that allows arms, have you got enough ammunition? Do you let it be known in a subtle way that you're well organized and well armed and you have a whole bunch of mates you go shooting with? Good. Let it be known. Make yourself strong. Make yourself strong and make others aware thereof in a subtle way that might be perpetual problems of the future. Take notes in time of peace in case of war. Take notes in time of peace in case of war. I'm here to tell you the war's already begun. It's a soft war. It's going to escalate into a hard one. It's a war of words, but there is a lot of cajoling and there's a lot of dirty deeds being perpetrated, probably against you, and you're not even realizing it. And there's a lot to come down the pike. Do you really think that those that have rejected protecting their savings from being stolen through massive inflation, and I did that BLS and I did that shadow stats for a goddamn reason, so that you guys realize there is massive inflation, the bulk of it happening in the stock market because the money isn't getting anywhere else except to banks and buyback megacorps, but that in time it will get more far-reaching. Do you think really that those rejecting their savings from being stolen from them through massive inflation built into their global fiat currency system, do you think they will ever care about the move to 100% digital currency that's going to take away their personal freedoms? Those goddamn sheeple are your problem. Reject them, isolate them. If they haven't responded favorably to anything you've said in the meantime, with all you've shared, and they are pushing back against you, they are telling you how they think. Reject them. Do not communicate any further with them. isolate them, unfriend them, block them, do whatever you need. You don't need them in your feed. You don't need those eyes and ears that are non-friendly in and around you. This is a war situation. Okay. Are you getting it? I hope so. This requires bigger action than you realize. Okay, so you're forming a strong community. So number 4 was forming a close-knit community. Number 5, expect to become, this is a scenario cast for mental preparation. Expect to become a minority of unvaxxed, small minority of unvaxxed people that will be hated, resented, which will have the media wind up your fellow friends and highlight how you, by exercising your freedom of choice, are actually placing all of them at risk, in spite of the fact that they're supposed to be vaccinated and supposed to now be risk-free from any sickness. They will square that circle and say that those refusing to do the vaccine are a risk to the rest. Divide and conquer is coming. And those that don't agree with you today are your future enemies. Those are the ones that will be throwing things at you at the supermarket store because you are unvaxxed and you do not have the chip when they do. Those will be the people walking far away around you and keeping their distance. You may as well polarize them now from your life and let them know you hold them in contempt and have the upper hand of acting first before that moment comes where they are rejecting you and responding to government edict, propaganda, and Bernays-like mental wind-ups to set you up as the perp. Absolutely cauterize sheeple from your life. Cauterize the sheeple from your life. Okay, that rule is an expectation. It's an expectation that you will become vilified. You'll become vilified for your white skin. You'll become vilified for your blue eyes if you have them. You'll become vilified for your European heritage if you have it. You'll become vilified for maleness. You'll become vilified for your resistance of a Bolshevik, murderous, at-war agenda that is designed to get under your skin with that which they wish to inject you with. And I will deal with Big Pharma in my closing statement, which is coming soon. In fact, let's deal with it right now. Big Pharma. Big Pharma. Boy, what a bunch of KUNTS. That's all I can say. When it comes to Big Pharma, you need to think of them as the poisoning department of the Bolshevik government regime. Go and watch James Corbett, Carnegie, and Rockefeller's seizure of medicine. Full stop. Everything else but chemical solution got isolated as quackery. They created the phrase, much like conspiracy theorists, and then they pushed a pull of chemicals for everything, and side effects became the day. Side effects became the day. And here's a couple of things you need to know about Big Pharma. Where else on planet Earth can you get the following? In 1986, a National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act, NCVIA, that effectively absolved all pharmaceutical companies of any responsibility from the risk of being sued if they manufactured a vaccine that led to a child dying or suffering permanent disabilities as a result of being injected with that vaccine. So let's just talk about that opening statement. Is there any other industry? Is there any other industry where you can prescribe a product and take no responsibility at all for anybody's user experience of that product? Is there any other industry? My answer to you is no. And not only is this, it's not like buying a pair of hair clippers off the supermarket shelf and I cut my head or nick it and I'm pissed off and they're a bit badly designed and I got a cut. I'm talking about the consequences of them doing bad vaccines is disability and even death. Disability and death. Permanent life quality reductions. And they are indemnified entirely. Guess what every pharma company wants to do? They have to make allowances with every pill for court cases in the future, for blowback. Here's a product line. There is no blowback, even if you kill the person. Yes. So US Supreme Court Justice Antonia Scalia ruled, and I took this segment from actually a Zero Hedge article. There was quite a few things that this person overlapped with my views, so it was quite interesting. No vaccine manufacturer, this is Anton Scalia, no vaccine manufacturer shall be liable in a civil action for damages arising, I'm reading from a quote, from a vaccine-related injury or death associated with the administration of a vaccine after October the 1st, 1988. If the injury or death resulted from side effects that were unavoidable, even though the vaccine was properly prepared and was accompanied by proper directions and warnings. So what that means in simple terms is if someone died because somebody attempted to sue and they were told, no, the vaccine was properly prepared and was properly administered and the directions and warnings were there and the substantial reduction in your child's life is just tough. And this segment of the article that I'm sharing from the Zero Hedge article, since the recipient of the vaccine has a severe adverse reaction, the vaccine was not properly prepared unless the severe adverse reaction was either the desired outcome, in other words, it's done exactly what it's supposed to do, and warnings contained within the vial package are irrelevant because a refusal of the vaccine as a result of those warnings is almost impossible because the child's worth would have been affected by refusing that vaccine, couldn't go to certain schools, would be put on a register, all sorts of freedom minimizing things. And for those of you that are young children, when I go back to educate yourself, educate your kids too, guys. Educate your kids too. You need to tell them about adult subjects. They're old enough, they're ready enough. The war is coming. Everybody needs to learn to understand. And it's a war of the mind as much as it's going to be a battle in the streets on the front of your house. That's probably not going to happen. It's a war for your mind. It's a war to get you to do things they want you to do. They are trying to inject you with their agenda. Reject their agenda. You are here to lead your life where you are most passionate and most talented and most capable. And you should be focusing on doing that because that will be when you're at your strongest, your most awesome, and your best ability to earn, live, and inspire those around you. Do not accept other people's agendas. And can I just sidebar that a little bit? In these Black Lives Matter times, it's okay to not give a flying shit for other people's goddamn agendas. So let me say that again. It's not only okay, it's, in my opinion, advisable not to give a flying fuck for other people's goddamn agendas. You see, it's not good enough for you not to be a racist. The game now is you have to wrap yourself in the hero's cloak and be the most virulent anti-racist crusader. That now means you must run around the world calling everyone out for racism, telling people how they should behave, social shaming, doing all sorts of Bolshevik agenda, useful idiot, chicanery and fuckery. Let me just say to you this. I don't murder. That doesn't mean I must commit my entire life to becoming a criminologist and avow myself to solve every unsolved murder and drop everything else I do that I was given in this life as talents to go and save and find all these murders that have got away from murder. Not doing murder doesn't necessitate nor require me to become a lifetime criminologist investigating unsolved murders. I think you'd agree with that. In the same way, not being a racist and taking people at face value and giving them a chance to show you they're either an idiot or they're worthy of your time is good enough. You don't have to give a shit about any fucking clown's fucking agenda, especially when it's Bolsheviks, Marxist funded bullshit that is here to put a sniper sign on your back because you have a white skin. And for my woke people of color members, trust me, when they're done dealing with one, they're going to come for the other, because the people in charge are psychopaths. They'll use one stone to break another stone, and then they'll come. If you think you're safe and it's not your turn now, my friend, they'll come for you. They'll come for you next because they love you no more than they love the people they're attacking today. 500 million is a lot smaller number than 9 billion. There's a big lot of seats to fill in that 8.5 billion reduction. There's barely 1.1 billion whites. They're only just getting started. So that's your Georgia Guidestones reference. If you don't know what that is, go back. In other words, the enemy is the control structure, not someone with a different skin to you. Okay? An awake person of any ethnicity is worth keeping and retaining as a friend. I have many. And a sleep person of any ethnicity should be rejected and cast aside immediately and without any great grace. Don't be rude, unnecessarily rude, brutal and quick. The best way to cut somebody off is brutal and quick. Not rude, just sorry, I don't think I can associate with that line of thinking anymore. In these times, we need awake people. I'll be leaving you alone from now on. Bye. Bye. Good luck. Bye. Learn to say goodbye. Learn to say no. Learn for your default response to be no, not yes. Sometimes when someone asks a question, before you even hit it, you just want to be amiable and you're already going yes. Okay, so in the case of these vaccines, you can see that they aren't fit for purpose. People have tried to sue where children have been hopelessly diminished in life quality as a result of these heavy metals that are finding their way along with human tissue to confuse your immune system into your brain and everywhere else, bringing on early Alzheimer's and all sorts of things. You have the right to reject. You were born a free animal, or that's what we're told. So act out like that free animal. Make wise, informed choices and set an example. Build your community. So I'm going to recap those rules one more time, super quick. Drop out of obeying. Disobedience is your default. Who are you? Who sent you? What is your interest? The minute you know the reason why someone's come, you know the agenda more than they do because you're awake. As per Rule 2, educate yourself. Be awake. Know thy enemy. Know thy enemy. Self-educate. Spend more time on BitChute than studying a doctoral thesis on splitting atoms. This is not the time for building debt and learning meaningless things. This is a critical period where your survival skills may be higher. The degree that you prep may be higher. Knowing how to do simple things are going to be more useful than basket weaving courses to the honors degree level at some cockamamie, high-priced college university. Reject. So that's 1 and 2 covered. Number 3, stop immediately consorting with people that are not awake and actually hold up government party lines when you have tested them with the ability to question the official narrative. If they fail that test, eliminate them from your sphere, remove their numbers. You don't need to phone. They're not going to help you. This, by closing certain doors, you allow others to open. You will concentrate your community interest in a smaller number of awake people, and you'll have deeper relationships with a smaller amount rather than spurious web-based joke sharing lols on Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp. Get rid of. I have culled people. I will not associate with them. I will not ride bikes with them. They're ignorant. They're flipping stupid. They want to take the government vax. I don't want to be surrounded by morons that might rub off on me. I don't want to even be pissed off by the dumb mutterings they'll make. I hold them in contempt. They've failed an IQ test. They are morons. They do not deserve my higher quality company, do not deserve what they could learn from me. They've failed the opportunity to have an inquiring mind. Those that do not seek to learn cannot learn. Those that are active and open-minded and are looking to seek to learn, you can nurture. So get rid of. So you've got 1, 2, and 3. Number 4, form a close community with those that are left. particularly with those your geolocation, but build online community for resourceful. This will retain your sanity, that you are not alone in your world, because you will question yourself and the decision. You're choosing the hard path, guys. You're climbing the mountain, up the south side. You're climbing Everest. The other guys want a helicopter drop, but they're going to die of altitude sickness the minute they jump out. You are choosing the hard path. You need pals that understand and that'll encourage you and keep you going. This is not the time for soft cocks and morons to be proliferating in your feed.